शांति शांति शांति। श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शंकरं लोकशंकरं। शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओमित्येतदक्षरमुद्गीतमुपासीत ओमिति ह्युद्गायते तस्योपव्याख्यानम्। Page 365। अथय आत्मा ससेतुः विधृतिः येषां लोकानां संभेदाय न एतं सेतुम् अहोरात्रे तरतः न जरा न मृत्युः न शोकः न सुकृतं न दुष्कृतं सर्वे पाप्मानः अतो निवर्तन्ते अपहत्पात्मा हि एष ब्रह्मलोकः। अतः यह आत्मा, यह मीन्स उक्त लक्षणों आत्मा, यह संप्रसाद है। So that which has been stated earlier as samprasada, the serene one, meaning in fact Brahman, tasya swarup, call it Atma or Brahman, tasya swarupam vakshamanahi uktahi anuktesya gunahi punastuyate। tasya samprasadasya atma swarupam, the true nature of that samprasada or atma, which is dharakasha, punah stuyate, again it is being praised here, extolled here. All praises arthavada meant for only supporting the vidhi of the meditation upon dharakasha. Vakshamanahi uktai anuktesya gunahi, the gunas, the attributes that will be stated subsequently. Uktahi, that is already stated. Anuktahi, or which are not yet stated and now going to be stated. Punah stuyate. Brahmacharya sadhana sambandhartham, to connect brahmacharya with sadhana, the spiritual means. Well-known spiritual means. Stutyasya brahmacharyasya. Brahmacharya is well known as a very praiseworthy discipline, extremely difficult discipline. Brahmani charyam anushtayam vyutpatya, Brahmani adhare asya sambandha. The sambandh is, Brahma is the adhara. Brahmani charyam anushtayam. So that vrata or the discipline which is to be undertaken in Brahman, for attainment of Brahman. Such a sadhya sadhana bhavatmakaha. That brahmacharya is sadhanam and Brahma is the sadhyam, the means and the end. तथा च एवं विध महामहिमा ब्रह्मोपलब्धे. So imagine how glorious Brahman is, that for attainment of the Brahman you have to undergo the discipline such as brahmacharyam, durannusthanavi, or anusthanam, which practice is extremely difficult. That vow or the spiritual discipline, namely brahmacharya or celibacy, is what one has to undertake, for attainment of which Brahman must be so great. या मुक्ति हेतु रविचिंत्य महाव्रतात्वम अभ्यस्य से सुनियतेन्द्रिय तत्वसारे ही मोक्षादिविर मुनिविरस्त समस्त दोषे ही. So, Mother Goddess is praised. Ya mukti hetu avichintya mahavrataatvam. You are Mahavrata for attainment of you. Mahavrata, great disciplines, avichintya, which are beyond the, beyond even thinking. That kind of vrata one has to undertake. Abhyasya se sunyatendriya tattvasarehi. Sunyatendriya tattvasarehi abhyasya se. So you are the Brahma Vidya. Abhyasya se is constantly practiced. Sushravanam, mananam, nidhyasanam. By who? Sunyatendriya tattvasarehi. Tattvasarehi, those who are only essences, tattvam, meaning those who have or interest only in tattvam and nothing else. Sunyatendriya, and those who have their sense organs are completely under control. Moksharthavihi, those who want only moksha and nothing else. Munivihi, those adept in mananam or in reflection. Asta samasta doshehi, those who have made their mind completely free from all the doshas, all impurities. Vidyasisa Bhagavati Paramahi Devi. Hey Bhagavati, you are the Vidya, Brahma Vidya, which is the means of moksha. So, even the vratas are so difficult, then Vidya is so great, then what will talk of Brahman, of which the knowledge is so great, of which even the disciplines are so great. So thus by prescribing an extremely difficult discipline such as brahmacharya, is Brahman, which is a means of which you attain through this discipline, is praised in fact. Evam vida mahamahya mahima brahmopalabdhaye. Mahamahima, one whose mahima, the glory is great. So Brahman, which is possessed of this great glory, for attainment of that, you have to undertake the extremely difficult disciplines such as brahmacharya. Iti upasya stutihi sadhana vidhane. In fact, thus by prescribing this means such as brahmacharya, is also contained indirectly also the stuti or the extolling of Brahman, for knowing or attainment of which this discipline is prescribed. So brahmacharya sadhana sambandhartham. So why is Brahman praised? For prescribing the discipline of brahmacharya. The brahmacharya is perhaps the most difficult discipline. And Brahman is praised that look, undertaking discipline such as brahmacharya is worthwhile for attaining Brahman such as this. So Brahman is so great, so glorious, that any kind of sacrifice you make or any kind of hardships you undertake for attainment of something that great is quite worthwhile. And that way brahmacharya is justified. So discipline of brahmacharya is justified because Brahman is so great. That's how Bhashyakara sees the purport or intention of this passage. Yesha yathokta lakshanatma sah setuhu iva setuhu. Yatham budadimaya setuhu vyavastha hetuhu. Just as setu or a dam or a causeway made of clay, etc. Clay and then wood and then all kinds of things must be. So, clay itself is all the bonding element. They must also provide wood, of course, is the strengthening element. In the clay also they add some grass and stuff like that as a bonding. So, that's how they make the causeway or make the dam. Vyavastha hetuhu. It is a hetu or the means of vyavastha, of segregating. Segregate this body of water from that body of water. Segregate this from that so that they do not get mixed up, so that the distinctions are retained or maintained. Even they also do not have the freedom to intermix, and ever they have no freedom to give up that distinction. The distinctions are retained, and therefore they function as it is enjoined or ordained for them. And be vyavastha hetuhu. So it's not setu or a dam in a primary sense. The other Tikakara said, line 26, Anuktahi setvadivihi suktahi, already stated, apahata papma, etc. Anuktahi setuhu vidhrutihi, vakshamanehi. In further passage will say further, attributes of Brahman also. Anda anando bhavati yajna hityachakshate brahmacharyameva. Yes satrayam hityachakshate yat anashakayam hityachakshate, etc., etc. So, many things is said about Brahman subsequently also. Then says the Tika, Loke Brahmanaha Nirvayavasya Katham Setuttvamiti. Brahman, so Setu is something tangible, has a certain shape and which is a tangible entity, therefore it is able to divide these two bodies of water. Jala Santana Vidharaka Setu Uchyate. It brings a separation between the two bodies of water which was flowing into this one body of water, brings distinction between them, separates them. So how can Brahman, which is niravayavam, partless, how can it separate something? How can it segregate something? Ita ashankya gaunya tasya setuttvamidyaha. Gaunya vritya is only in a secondary sense that because some guna or similar attribute is there, therefore it is called setu. So Bhashya setuhu iva setu. Ivakara means what? It is like a setu. Not a setu in a primary sense, but like a setu. Meaning that Brahman also possesses some attributes that a setu or a dam possesses. So gunam aha. So what attribute does Brahman possess that a dam possesses? So Bhashyakara says now further, the second line, that is third line actually, fourth line. Vidhrutihi vidharanaha. So this is the gunam. Gunam means this is the attribute which is common between Brahman and Setu, because of which Brahman is called a Setu. Like Simho Devadatta. Devadatta is called a lion because some qualities are there in Devadatta which are there in line. So Vidhuti, holding together, sustaining, holding together. Vidharana. So Anandagiri says, Vidsetutvam sadhayati. Anandagiri says that the Vidharana is for proving that it is Setu. This other Tikakara says Gauna Prayoga, and so this Guna is common. Anandagiri says Vidhuti. So what is a Setu? A Setu is that which is Vidhuti, which holds together, which distinguishes. So Setutvam sadhayati Vidhrutihi Vidharana. Alright, Vidharagatvam upapadayati. How do you call a dam a Vidharana? How do you call it? Sustaining, upholding something. So Aninaiti, Bhashyakara says, Aninahi Sarvam Jagata Varnashramadi Kriyakaraka Phalade Bhedaniyamaihi Kartuho Anurupam Vidhasata Vidhrutam Vidhrutam. So by one who ordains, so by the ordainer, the whole universe also is controlled, is held together, is segregated, is always kept in order. Aninahi, it is by the Setu of the nature of Brahman. It's interesting. Sarvam Jagat, the entire creation. Varnashramadi kriyakaraka phaladivedahi niyamaihi vidhutam. The whole universe is sealed together by niyama, by the laws. So bheda niyamaihi, the laws that segregate, the laws that distinguish. What? So varnashramadi niyamaihi, bheda niyamaihi, varna bheda niyama, ashrama bheda niyama. So varna bheda, there is a distinction among the varnas or among the castes. Ashrama again, distinction among the stages of life, brahmacharya, grihastha, etc. Then Adi, what is Adi? Varnashramadi, the Adi shabda hai, vayavastha vishaya hai. So duties are prescribed according to Varna, according to Ashrama, sometimes according to the Vaya also. There is certain things done by young man, Krishna Keshaha. So a fellow who has the dark hair, he only should perform this. So that way, certain prescriptions are there, taking into account the Vayas or the age. So, Varna Shramadi, Kriya Karga Phaladi. So, Kartuhu Anurupam. The person was to perform the action. What is the Varna? What is the Ashrama? What is the Vayaha? Anurupam. Keeping that in mind, Kriya Niyama is there, Karaka Niyama is there, Phala Niyama is there. Kriya, that person should perform and can perform only this Kriya, this ritual, this duty. Karaka, for accomplishing that Kriya or action, he has to make use of these accessories. For example, for performing a homa, you must have a certain kind of oblation, etc. So, all distinct, depending upon what karma is to perform, the different karakas also, what is the karanam, what is the karma, all these also are specified. So, what dravya is going to be offered, etc. Phala, and who should perform what action with what means for attaining what result. So you can attain phala, results such as swarga, by a homa such as jyotishtoma, for which you require these different accessories and materials. which can be performed by this person, belonging to this caste, belonging to this stage of life. All these niyamas are there. Adi Shabdastu Tavan Tad Avantar Jatiya Vishaya. Meaning that in Kriya and rituals also there are internal differences. So depending on what branch of Veda you belong to, so there will be some internal difference in Agnihotra also, etc. And one branch of Veda may prescribe one material, some other may prescribe a little different material. This difference can be there. And so all these kartuhu anurupam vidahata, it is Veda or the scriptures in fact which prescribe, which enjoin, which direct or govern that this is how the life must be lived. Thus all distinctions are made. So interestingly, ultimately the intention is to discover the oneness. The unity in diversity, that is the ultimate purpose of life. But for that, the diversity itself is utilized as a means of discovering unity. It is not by ignoring diversity. It is by properly relating to diversity that you can discover or you can know the unity. So how to settle account with diversity? How to tune up with the diversity? How to develop comfort with diversity? Because one has to transcend the diversity in order to know the unity. Recognizing the reality of diversity is mithya. Then one can recognize the reality of oneness as satya. But then mithya has to be negated. The negation cannot take place simply because you say, this is mithya. You have to tune up with mithya and make it favorable to you so that mithya does not bother you. So therefore Devi also, Prakriti also, we must worship her and make her favorable to us so that she becomes favorable. So Avidya Maya and Vidya Maya. If the Prakriti does not support the Avidya Maya, all kinds of obstacles are there. So then with Prakriti also the worship is there in order to make her favorable. So same Prakriti then becomes a means of knowledge. That Maya, which was a great obstacle, itself becomes now an aid in the knowledge. So same as they say in Ramayana, same Sitaji. Then when this fellow, this Jayanta, when he in fact, with his beak hurt Sitaji, then Lord Rama sent an arrow, Brahmastra, and then he, finding no place, no refuge anywhere, came back and fell at her feet. So she turned her face towards Rama. The same Sita can make you go round and round, and same Sita also can direct you towards Rama. So that is how the duality is to be respected. So Vedanta respects the duality for what it is. Even though Vedanta always emphasizes the unity in diversity. Samam sarveshu bhuteshu tishtantam parameshwaram. Sarveshu bhuteshu samam tishtam. One that obtains equally in all the beings. Vinashatsu avinashantam, imperishable in all the perishable. But the perishable also must be made favorable. The samam, the vishamam also must be, which is samam among vishamam. That vishama, all of these also, you must tune up with that. Develop comfort with that, make it favorable. Then only it will become conducive for you to know the samam. So that is why the distinction, that is all the rules and regulations are there. Somebody will say, hey, the non-duality of reality, why do you worry about duality? Why should you do this and that? It's mithya after all. Somebody, what is the purpose of this value and karma yoga? It's all mithya. But to recognize mithya as mithya, the mithya should reveal itself as mithya. So mithya also should become favorable to us so that it reveals itself as mithya. So that you can transcend it, otherwise you cannot. It's easier said than done to transcend mithya. Therefore, all the sadhana are all karma yoga. This is all karma yoga. That, therefore, niyatam kuru karmatvam. When you perform this any karma, niyata karma, that karma of the duty that is enjoined for you. And why is given duty enjoined for you? Because you possess certain qualities. Everybody that way is one at the level, at the core level, at the level of personality. Everybody is unique and distinct. And therefore utilize that uniqueness and distinctness to accomplish a larger purpose of running this universe in a harmonious manner. So that is why kartuhu anurupam vidahata vidrutam, the entire universe is held together. Then it can be held together. Just as a machine can be held together when all the components making of the machine, they do exactly what they are required to do. Otherwise, Swami used to say, this piston is very proud in locomotive engine. Always makes fun of that little nut. So what are you doing, fellow? You are just insignificant entity. What are you doing? Look what I am doing. Poor nut always feels so miserable that yes, I am not doing anything. So nut also decided to do something. So it started also turning, and the piston it flew off. There is nothing to hold piston together. So everything should do what they are assigned to do. Otherwise, if the nut competes with piston and starts doing what the piston wants to do, or piston says, this fellow doesn't do anything, I will also stop doing, that won't work. So everybody has its own uniqueness, distinction, its own place in the scheme of things. That's all. So just in a very complicated machinery, every component of the machinery has a unique place. And so every individual has a unique place in the scheme of things. And this is exactly what the Vedas take into account. Although you keep criticizing without understanding the spirit of the Vedas, but everybody is distinct. You can't say man and woman are the same. They are the same as far as the dignity is concerned. They are the same as far as the divinity is concerned. They say the same or equally respectful, there is no question about it. But not same because they have to do the same. That's idiotic. Because the upadhi is distinct. And what one has, the other one does not have. And everybody is unique that way. And therefore, that is called management. How to utilize that uniqueness so that everybody becomes a base contributor. So it is not to discriminate one against the other. It is to identify the unique qualities that each one has so that he makes a proper contribution in the scheme of things. So that everybody becomes a contributor. In that sense, they are all equal. Everybody can be equally a contributor. It's a man or a woman or a child or whoever it is, a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, doesn't matter what they do. What is important is that each one contributes. And each contribution of each one is as important as the contribution of anybody else. Therefore, no distinction is made as far as the duty is concerned, that this duty is superior. Shreyan swadharma vigunaha. Paradharmaha svanushthitat. Swadharma shreyan. At any rate, your duty, because the duty assigned to you is in keeping with your distinct place in the scheme of things. So that is how Vedanta Vidrutam, that is how the whole universe is held together. So that's the connecting thread. Just as in a machine, the connecting thread is that each one of them does exactly what they are required to do. And therefore, what appears to be diverse and unconnected in the universe, there is a connection. Connection is that each one is a contributor. Each one is connected by the thread of duty. Each one ultimately is worshipper of Ishvara. Atastvam sampreksha kratushu phaladana pratibhuvam shuto shadnam badva dhrupaриkarah karma sujana. Ultimately goal is only Ishvara. Atastvam sampreksha. So Mahinda Stotra says that when these people perform the rituals, he is not looking at ritual, he is looking at you. Because you are the guarantor that I perform this karma, that result will come. This karma has no capacity to assure that. This karma pradvastam. So how can karma, which itself, once you perform it, then it's over. It's not around also to assure that you get the result. Ishvara is the karma phaladata. So he is karma adhyaksha and karma phaladata, which is always centrally there. So in performing this duty, it is not just a secular situation. It is a religious situation as far as we are concerned. There is no secularity in life. It's all religious life. Swami always say that Hindu dharma is a religious dharma. So religion pervades everywhere. Nothing is secular. You don't step over even a currency note. You don't step over because Lakshmi. You don't step over a notebook or a book because it's Saraswati. So people who do not have their samskara, they don't mind. They put a book underneath, and they sit on that. The Westerners who come there, so because the floor is too hard, and so they put that textbook underneath, and sit on that. Not that they have no idea at all, so there's no intention of insulting anything, but they just don't know. Sitting in front row, they just stretch out their legs like that. Not because they intend anything, but this is how it is. So when the samskaras are not there, then you miss out. The thing is that you miss out the benefit that comes from revering a book or Saraswati, revering the Guru. There is all benefit is there that you miss out. So therefore all the distinctions are necessary. So kartuhu anurupam vidhata vidhrutam. There is a whole universe. The whole universe is held together by this niyati, by niyama. So niyamaihi vidhrutam is by the niyama, by the order, or by the laws, which laws are given to us in the form of vidhi and nisheda. So these laws are told to us. We are educated as far as the laws are concerned by the statements of vidhi and nisheda. Sri Kartu Amarupa Kriyadibheda Vishayanemahi Saha Varnadi Vasthapayata Parameshwarana Saram Jagat Vidrutamiti Sambandha. Kartu Amarupa Kriyadibheda. So Kriya should be Amarupa, in keeping with the nature of the Karta. So anybody cannot be given any task. You choose a person for a certain task. Tuja. You go and do this. Not everybody. And so, come on, Jagdish, come here. And when you require to put up all this, the backdrop, etc., you require that person. You need an environment to do something. You need a plumber to do something else, etc. So, kartru anurupa kriyadibheda vishaya niyamaihi. By the niyama, the rules, which in fact distinguish different kriyas, etc. Niyamaihi sah varnadi vyavasthapayata. So along with these rules, the varna vyavastha, varna ashram vyavastha is in fact brought into being. Chaturvane maya sustam guna karma vivagashah. So Parameshwarena sama sarvam jagat vidrutam. It is not by niyamaihi vidrutam, by vidhata vidrutam. Vidhata parameshvara vidrutam. The whole universe is held together by Brahman, who is Parameshvara, who in fact has created the universe in which his niyamas or the rules are built in. So the universe functions according to certain order, the rules. And we should also be in tune with those orders. So that is why do's and don'ts are there. This is right, this is wrong, you should do this, should not do that. It is to help you be in tune with those niyamas around which the whole universe functions, so that you are in harmony with the universe. Anurmukhena uktameva vyateka mukhena aha. So what is stated Anvaya in a positive sense, now in negative also it is being stated Vyateka. Sri Bhashyakara Adhrimanam hi Ishvarena idam vishwam vinashyed yataha tasmat sasetuhu vidutihi. Adhrimanam, if the universe was not held together, Ishvarena Adhrimanam hi, because if this universe was not held together by Ishvara, by God, idam vishwam vinashyed, the whole universe would get destroyed, disintegrate. And so that's why Lord Krishna says, the varteva ja karmani, yadi swamna vartayam jago karmanya tandritah ma vartman vartante manusya pata sarva utsidevir me lokaha na kuryam karma chedaham sankarasya kartasam upahanyamimah prajaha. Utsidevir me lokaha, all these lokas, the world also will get destroyed. And there will, because there will be Varna Sankaryam, there will be all mixture, in the different castes and stages of life and among people. There will be no Vyavastha, no distinction as far as order, as far as the duties are concerned. And the whole thing would come to a stop. So therefore, Adhrima, Ishvara, Adhrimanam, because if this universe is not held together by Ishvara, whereas Swami used to say, that Ishvara himself manifests the different niyamas of the laws in the universe. So Ishvara is manifested in the universe. And the universe is nothing but that is held together by the laws. So different laws are there, the orders are there, different levels of orders are there. Physical order, physiological order, psychological order, this order, that order, all kinds of orders are there. Physical, psycho orders, In the level of psychology also there is an order. Physiology also an order. Physical also there is an order. Thus, at every level there is an order. Everything functions according to the set rules. Otherwise, vinashyet, the universe would disintegrate. That's why, Mai Saravidam Prodam Sutre Maniganayava. And the sutra, the thread that holds all these pearls together. Thus the universe, every element comprising the universe is like a pearl, held together by sutra, by the thread of this niyama, which is nothing but Ishvara. Yataha tasmat sasetuhu. Since it, so he setu because it upholds everything. And if it did not uphold everything, then everything would just disintegrate. And therefore, since everything is in order, held together, so you find that the universe is held together, that it is functioning smoothly, except wherever a human being is. Otherwise, everything is functioning smoothly. So other than human being, and wherever human being has also, interfered with the scheme of things, that is where you find disorder. Whether it is global warming and whatever it is, it's ozone, the hole in the. So all of this stuff is all done by human being. other than that, but then Ishvara, it will take some time for Ishvara to bring that in order also. It will come. It will take some centuries, to again, in order for it to come to normal, to the harmony. So, why we see the desire in the universe is all brought about by human being through the abuse of his free will. But otherwise, Mai Sarvedam Protam Sutre Maniganaiva, like the sutra or thread holds together the pearls or the jewels, otherwise they would all scatter. So the universe would have been scattered if it was not held together. So there is something that upholds the universe. You call it dharma, here is called Vidruti. So Sahasrituhu Vidruti. Therefore, he is like a dam, Vidruti, which holds everything together. So which maintains the distinctions, which maintains the boundaries. So, therefore, maintaining boundaries is extremely important. The other Tikakara says, Anumanamatra Pramanamaha. So this is either you call it Vyatireka or call it Anumanam. Avidriya Adhriyamanamiti. Vimatam Kenachi Vizrutam Niyata Pravutitvat. As you just said. Vimatam Kenachit Vizrutam. This universe must be held together by somebody. Why? Niyata Pravutitvat. Because we find that everything in the universe functions in a prescribed manner, in an ordained, preordained manner. So whether the sun or the moon, all elements of the nature, all of them perform their role in a preordained manner. So there must be an ordainer. Otherwise, nobody will function in an orderly manner unless there is somebody to in fact implement that order. So Vishwam Vinashet, this Tikakara says Vishwak Vinashet. Vishwak means Nana Mukham Avyavasthitam Sat Vinashet, that's all then. It will become Avyavasthitam. Vishwak means Nana Mukham. It will not have one consistency, so everything will do different, mouths will say different things, and there will be no Vyavastha, and that way the whole universe may come to a disintegrate. Says the Tika, Rajadevihi Vidharanasya Dushtatvat Jagat Vidhanapi Jiva Eva Siddhati Vyasangate. He has his own doubts, anyway. So sometimes very relevant, sometimes not very relevant. But anyway, so Rajadevihi Vidhanasya Dushtatvat. So now it is by Anumanam also, not only Shruti says, but by Anumana also, we have now come to conclusion that there is a Vidhrutihi. There is an ordainer. Alright. So there is an ordainer in the universe who ordains and therefore everything functions as ordained. So now, Rajadevi Vidhanasya Dushtatvat, we find that in our day-to-day life, it is someone like a king, who maintains the order, who is the ordainer. Jagat Vidharanabi Jiva Eva Siddhati. So Mimamsakas, what happens is, they don't accept Ishvara. So we ask a Mimamsaka, what maintains the order? It says karma. According to them, karma maintains the order. Who performs karma? The jivas perform the karma. So in a way, the jivas maintain the order of the universe through their karma. You don't need Ishvara. So karma, of course, Vedanta says, karma kim param karma tajjanam karturajnaya prapyate phalam. If karma cannot in itself give rise to phalam, it is the karta or it is the ordainer. So anyway, jiva eva siddhati ityashankate. Somebody may come to the conclusion that this vidharanam or the upholding is done by jivas through their karma. And so kimartham, therefore, iti ashankate. Kimartham sasetuhu iti aha. So what's the purpose of that setu? What's the purpose of the dam or a causeway? or Rani Uktamevartham Prashnapurukam Vishadayati. What is stated by Anvaya Vyatireka as to how Parameshwara is the Vidruti or the ordinary is Prashnapurukam Bhashyakara Vishadayati, explains it clearly as preceded by a question, Kimartham. So then that's another way of looking at what's the purpose of this whole thing. Why is it that the ordinary ordains the universe, holds it together? Kimartham. So Setu. Alright, there is a Setu, there is a dam, there is a causeway which creates the distinctions, etc. What is the purpose of that? So then the Bhashyakara says, Esham Bhuradinam Lokanam Kartrukarma Phalashrayana Asambhodaya Avidaranaya Avinashaya Ittetada. That's the purpose. So always stated, Adrimanam Ishvarana Idam Vishwam Vinashed. Same thing is clarified here. This is not saying anything new, clarified. That's the purpose is, so Esham Lokanam Asambhedaya Bhuradi Lokanam Bhuhu Bhuva Swaha Maha, all these lokas, the worlds are there. Asambhedaya Sambheda. So the Tika below says Bhuradi Samastaloka Vidharanam Alpagni Jiva na Siddhyati. I mean, Alpagni Jivas, meaning the one who is the ordinary must be omniscient also. To be able to maintain the order in the whole universe, the ordinary should necessarily know the whole universe. Is it not so? To control anything, you must know exactly what it is. It is by knowledge that you can control something, not otherwise. So human being has learned to control even these elements of nature. He can control the wind and create power out of that. He can control the water, create, So all these elements are used for its own benefit because he understood the nature of these things. And more you understand, more control you have. So for controlling, not only you require the power to control, we also should have the knowledge of who you are controlling. Merely power does not work because you don't understand this fellow whom you are controlling, you will wiggle out of it. And therefore, so, alpagni jiva na siddhyate. The jivas or alpagnya cannot in fact order or control the entire universe because it requires not only omniscient, omnipotent, omniscient also. Ityaha. Shankayam uttaramaha ityartha. If this doubt is there, then this uttaram is there. So, bhidir vidharana iti dhatu patham ashtityaha. So, Upanishad said asambhedaya. Sambheda, from the root bhid. Vidharana, to separate or to break down. So, vidharana means either separate it or separate or break down something. It's called vid. Therefore, avidaranaya. So that Bhashyakara said, Lokanam, Bhuradi Lokanam, Kartru Karma Phalashayanam. Very interesting that this Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Swaha, all these lokas are there, in the universe. The 14 worlds are there. They are all the result of karma phala, or the nature of karma phala. If karma, if the vyavastha of karma, karta, karma phala was not there, these worlds could not come into existence or cannot be sustained. See, Prithvi is sustained because all the jivas are performing karma to do what is required to sustain the Prithvi. Yam Prithvi sarvesham lokanam madhu. Asya Prithvi sarve lokaha madhu. So thus this Prithvi sustains everything and everybody sustains the Prithvi. So therefore only when the karma is performed, the duties are performed, according to the enjoyment, then only the Prithvi, the Bhuhu, Bhuva, all this world will be sustained. See, right now human being is not doing what he should do, so there is a danger of destruction of this Prithvi. You can see how if we continue to abuse the way we do, then we will destroy the environment, we will destroy the whole Prithvi also. So Prithvi can be destroyed if duty is not there. So how the duty of the karma sustains everything, So distinction of who should do what and how it should be done and with what purpose it should be done is all specified. So everybody should function according to the specification then, because the whole universe is karma phala. So all the worlds are karma phala. Only when right karma is performed, then right karma phala is there, then the worlds also are there. No vartmanu vartante manushyaha partha sarvashaha. So when I perform my duty, then everybody performs his duty. Yadi hyam navarteyam jatu karma yatandritaha. Lord Krishna, if I do not do constantly, without fail, alertly, what I am supposed to, I should be doing, people will follow me. Then the whole universe will break down. That's what it said. Utside rimi lokaha. All the world also, we can't understand, but this is how we can understand. How the duties sustain the entire, because the universe is karma phala. And there is the vyavastha, bhuhu, bhuvaha, suvaha, maha. Each one is distinct loka. Because it's a result of distinct karma phala. And karma phala is distinct because the karma is distinct, because karta is distinct. And that's how bhuradinam loka kartru karma phalashayanam. Each loka or realm is ashraya, is the abode of karta, karma phala, karma and phala. So when you are in the prithvi loka, bhu loka, then karta, karma, phala is one kind. You go to some other loka, the karta, karma, phala will be a different kind. Go to swarga, the karta, karma, phala will be a different kind. So, of these lokas, asambhedaya, then martya loka is martya loka, and swarga loka is swarga loka. In swarga they start behaving like martya, and martya they start behaving like some patala, asuras, Then the distinction of the loka also will not remain. This loka will no more be martya loka, it will be some other loka. So, Prithvi is Prithvi. It is a distinct karta, karma, phala. Swarga is on this, so Chandra loka. Whatever lokas are there, Pitru loka. They are all karma phalas. And therefore, everywhere the distinction should be there. Then vyavastha is maintained. Where will you go? If Pitru loka no remains true to its nature, then where will your karma phala take you? So your karma should take you to Pitruloka, provided Pitruloka is consistently Pitruloka. So whatever kind of people should be there, or upadhi should be there, karma phala must be there. So therefore, bhuradinam lokanam kartru karma phalashranam, with abode of the karta, karma and phala, asamvedaya, for preventing the separation, for keeping distinction, for preventing the destruction or disintegration. Avidaranaya, avinashaya. So, preventing disintegration, preventing destruction, that this is the setu. Brahma is the setu. Now a different topic comes. So now the setu is described, what the setu is and what the purpose is. Now what are its characteristic distinctions? Naetam setum ahoratre tarataha. Now the glory of the setu, to distinguish this setu of Brahman from the ordinary setu. Naetams, because these poor setus or those dams, ultimately they will come to an end. No dam is permanent and no causeway is permanent. But this is not the Setu like that. So even though it is called a dam or a causeway, it is not subject to the limitation that this ordinary Setus have. So na etam setum ahoratre tarataha. The day and night cannot reach, cannot affect this Setu. So day and night they are constantly doing their work. By like those two rats which are cutting through the root, that the man is running away from the tiger and jumps into a well. It's a dry well. Fortunately, while falling down, he gets hold of some roots which are protruding from the walls of the well, and he is held in between, suspended. Looks below, there is a big snake there. Looks above, the tiger is there. And sees there are two rats which are, so the very tree of which it's called, the roots are being cut by two rats. That's day and night, So those day and nights are like rats. They keep on cutting everything, and so no Setu will survive before the effect of these fellows, So, na etam setum ahoratre tarataha. This day and night also cannot affect this Setu. Na jara, old age, decrepit, it cannot. Na mrityu, death cannot. Na shokaha, grief cannot. Na sukritam, even punya karma cannot affect it. Because punya karma also will require to take another birth. That where Brahman is given, it transcends that also. Na dushkritam, even the vice also, or the papa karma also, cannot have any effect on this Setu. Sarve papmanah ataha nivartante. All the papas, all the sins, they turn away from the Setu. Why? Apahata papmani esha brahmaloka. This loka of the nature of Brahman is apahata papma, is devoid of any sin. Therefore, nothing has any effect. If sin is there, reason why Bhashyaka will explain that the reason why the day and night affect us, old age affects us, death affects us, Papa Punya affects us, because we are sinners, there is sin in us. Adharma is there, and that's why we invite the effect of all these fellows. If adharma is not there, this has no effect at all. Apahata papma esha brahmaloka. This brahmaloka is devoid of all the sins, and therefore, this is all the results of sin. The day and night, the effect of all of it is the result of papa. And because free from papa, therefore, none of these have any effect on that. Okay, we'll continue in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutravashyakrutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Veda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.